Hello and welcome to this short video about solutions to the problem of crime. This is designed specifically for OCR G673 crime and deviance. They could apply to a range of levels study within sociology and exam topics. So we're going to be looking at solutions to crime, looking at several key issues. In the question, we're going to write this question: outline and assess the left realist solutions to crime. We'll do. Let's just make it a general question. I've changed my mind. We're going to make it a general question. I'm going to cover each theory, each main theory, some of the main theories, so that you can apply it to different topics. In the specification, it gives three perspectives for this topic. So for solutions to crime, it has left realism, right realism, and feminism. So that means that you could get an essay question on solutions to crime according to left realists, or right realists, or feminists. But obviously in your essay answer you need to refer to a range of views, not only those three. So we're going to look at a range of views. So we're going to look at outline and assess sociological explanations of solutions to crime. In the essay, we would want to consider the key ideas which are in the specification. So we'd want to look at different solutions. So we could refer to definition of solutions to crime as policies, which includes rules, frameworks and guidelines designed to either prevent crime by deterring criminals, to prevent crime perhaps through enabling people to be shamed publicly, or through accepting guilt, or by rehabilitating them, or by restricting their freedom and access to other members of society. So policies, we could refer to the concepts that I just put there. So crime prevention, retributive and just restorative justice, retributive is more to do with just deserts, someone being fairly balanced punishment is often involved. Restorative justice more to do with guilt and reintegrating people through shaming, which enables them to understand but also be rehabilitated. Incarceration is imprisonment, which has its own issues to do with recidivism, reoffending, which is around 50% in the UK, and rehabilitation. Some of the policies we could look at then could include the prevent strategy, controversial prevent strategy aimed at reducing terrorism, dealing with issues like radicalisation in schools, places of worship, communities. Prevent strategy is controversial, it's criticised as stigmatising some groups. We could look at policies like community service orders, people having to clean up in the streets, and we could look at ASBOs, which are a form of labelling. We could also look at community service police officers, community police officers. CPOs, community police officers. So let's look at each perspective then. So we could say the views in the debate in the essay introduction. So in the introduction so far then, summarise, refer to what solutions means, refer to the concepts of different ways in which crime could be solved, such as retribution, rehabilitation, etc. We refer to some examples of policies, like the prevent strategy. We refer to views in the debate, and we basically list some of the perspectives that we're going to cover, including functionalism, left realism, right realism, feminism, interactionism. So we basically list those in a sentence. Okay, so several views in this debate, such as, just put them in a list in a sentence form. Okay, so let's go through each one, but what we've got in the opening paragraph is a summary of what we can include in the whole essay, essentially. And if we list the perspectives here, again, that gives us some framework of how we can go about our paragraphs. We can refer to these definition keywords and solutions keywords and policies and the key concepts of each perspective. Okay, so we're going to look at functionalism first of all then, as we start the main body of the essay. We can refer to key concepts like consensus or shared culture, structure, social inequality. And so what we're learning here today is that by applying our knowledge of how crime is explained, each perspective therefore gives a solution for how crime can be solved. So explanation gives a solution. So the functionalists say the reason for crime, explanation of crime, is culture and structure of society. And therefore, to solve crime, we need to look at doing something about the culture of society, perhaps education and information, and also try to deal with problems with the structure of society, like reducing inequality. So the functionalist view might relate to, for example, the prevent strategy, where David Cameron's coalition and now Conservative government, 2015, wished to prevent crime. This year, this is a good contemporary example which you can use in the essay. Cameron has been quoted as saying, or planning to say, that we've been too long passively tolerant in the UK. So there's a concern about being too passively tolerant. Where as long as people obey the law, people are left alone by the government. Cameron is arguing we need to intervene more in people's lives, how they communicate, to try to reduce problems, for example, where people are sharing information or communicating in a way that incites hatred or encourages radical views. They want to take action rather than being passively tolerant. So there is discussion of how emails, social media can be used to communicate. He's talked about the dark web. The dark web, how a range of types of dealings can take place. Child abuse rings on the dark web. Terrorist groups communicating on the dark web. So this has been criticised. So we could criticise this now. So we could say evaluation points. We could talk about how this could be seen as too conservative, rather than dealing with the culture and structure. We need to actually go further and take a more radical view. The reason for this is that the functionalists say that the culture of society is imbalanced, so we need more information about how to access the goals of society legitimately. That would be supported by Merton. But Marxists would say that the culture of society is influenced by capitalism, so you can't change the culture unless you change the economic structure of capitalism, and therefore it's the structure which is fundamentally problematic. And the functionalists ignore this because they overplay the role of the culture, and they ignore how it's caused by the structure. In solving crime, therefore, the functionalists would say that the structure of society is fundamentally good. Inequality is useful, it's beneficial, it's functional, because human beings are naturally different. We need inequalities, we need clever leaders, hard-working leaders, people to have different roles. But the Marxists would say everyone is equal. Crime is a result of the structure and poverty. It's unfair because the functionalists ignore power inequalities and exploitation. They ignore the problems with the structure, which are fundamentally problematic due to capitalism. So they'd say that the functionalists underplay problems with capitalism, overplay its benefits in solving crime. Okay, I'm going to do another theory, another perspective. So I'm going to look at the Marxist view next.